Is that a crab with a top hat and a monocle? That's where I draw the line. Come on, Master Chief. Let's get the fuck out of here.
As I get older, I find myself playing video games less. Not only that, but I'm also far less patient with them than I used to be. When I was a little kid, I 100%ed LEGO Marvel Superheroes. Last week, I finished the main campaign for Star Wars Outlaws, and after I got the pop-up saying I had beat the game, I turned it off and I haven't gone back to it since. Sure, I could have finished some side quests, collected more items, and explored more of the map, but I was completely satisfied with my time with the game by then, so frankly, any further gameplay would have been a waste of time. I got a solid third-person action-adventure game that lasted about 16 hours, and that was all I wanted.
I mean, it's alright, like...
Just a few days ago, I beat the Ghostbusters video game in a single day because it was a tight 8-hour game with fun gameplay and great writing that didn't overstay its welcome. If you can't already tell, I like concise, narrative-driven games. That doesn't mean that I also don't like longer games that give the player a bit more involvement. Final Fantasy XV is one of my favorite games of all time, and despite its colossal runtime, not a week goes by where I don't think about replaying Red Dead Redemption 2.
I want to be a cowboy, baby. I want to be a cowboy, baby.
The only problem with long games is that they don't always work well with real life. It's hard to sit down and play a game like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth when you might have to put it down for a month, only to come back afterwards and realize that you have completely forgotten how to play the game. Honestly, sometimes I'd rather sit down and replay a Call of Duty campaign. It's an easily consumable action-packed experience with tight gameplay, exciting narratives, and pure spectacle. A complete and satisfying experience. What am I trying to say with all of this? In the world of video games, bigger does not always mean better. Having a game that takes a player 60 hours to beat isn't something worth bragging about if those 60 hours aren't fun and properly developed. In a world where it feels like we are starting to pay more for less, it makes sense that people want a brand new full-price AAA game to last them a long time. But personally, I think that this is a little misguided. Even with the recent price increases we have seen with video games, in the grand scheme of things, they are still incredible value for money. Look at how much a movie ticket cost for about a couple of hours of entertainment versus how much a brand new game cost for potentially dozens of hours of entertainment. Seems like a pretty good deal now, right?
This game costs almost $300. It's supposed to help you learn how to survive earthquakes. Surely this will be the best purchase of my life.
All I'm saying is that I think even paying full price for something like a Call of Duty campaign isn't an awful value proposition when that game cost more to make than a lot of Hollywood blockbusters. I mean, sure, I say that as someone who usually waits for most games to go on sale before I buy them, but if this whole video was about the monetary value of video games, then it would fall apart pretty quickly. I'm just trying to highlight that so many gamers now focus on how long a game is to justify whether or not it is a good purchase, instead of focusing on the quality of those individual hours. I don't want to spend 60 hours playing a game if it's only made up of 20 good hours of gameplay mixed in with meaningless crap. I mean, Jesus, did Assassin's Creed Valhalla really need to be 60 hours long? I have to work for 40 hours a week, man. I don't want to take half a year to finish a single game. I want something I can finish in a weekend. Video games need to respect a player's time, not waste it. I've walked away from games because they overstayed their welcome. Sometimes a concept can only be fun for so long before it gets boring and repetitive, and if there isn't a good story there to mask the repetition, then I'm not going to stick around for very long. I'm a sucker for a nice, short game. I'd much rather take a well-crafted and focused 8 hours over a 50-hour monster that treads water for most of its runtime. I'm just trying to speak for casual gamers like myself here. Don't keep asking for games to be longer and longer. I'm not suggesting you cut down a game like Rebirth, because honestly, that's just what RPGs are. It would be like cereal without milk. But you know, if you're making an open world game, can you give me a main storyline that I can knock off in a weekend? Sure, keep Keep the side quest and collectibles for the people who want it, that's important, but don't forget to cater to people who don't want to give up their life for a game. I think that's what all of this ultimately comes down to. Options. Great games have something for everyone. Give casual gamers a straight line they can follow and have fun with in a concise experience. But if some players want to go off of the beaten path and discover everything that a game has to offer, then give them that option too. Some people want to pretend that they are the star in a film, while others want to play in the sandbox. Let's try and make both groups happy. So what do you all think? Do you get what I'm trying to say here? Is there too much pressure for games to get bigger and longer now, or are you happy with the length of modern games? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, stay safe, look after yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video.